Guys, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for having me, people. Fridays, Q&A days, and obviously it's the off-season and all them things there. Last Q&A before the World Cup starts, so at least we have some football back on that front. But as usual, thank you very much for your questions, people, man. Yeah, man, got it printed off, wasting ink doing it in blue, but yeah, man, it is what it is. Thank you very much for the questions. Let's crack on, man. Beastly asks his thoughts on Aaron Bissayaka. I can't say his name, but I know you're talking about the Palace fullback. Decent, man, decent. I like what I see, man. I don't know for potential and them sort of things there, but I like what I see, man. He's committed. He had a little bit in the season when he was playing week in, week out. He has some consistency. He does the basics very well. He's a homegrown player, and what club, don't matter what club you support, you don't know, and words can't describe how good it feels to see a homegrown, however route they've taken into the club, homegrown player come through and things like that, man. I do believe he's of dual nationality, so he, as far as I'm concerned, don't correct me if I'm wrong, people, but he hasn't made a senior cap for another country. Maybe the England under 21s and all of that. Is he 21? Is he 2021? I know he's on the young sort of side, but I like him as a fullback. Maybe international recognition is there to be said if he carries on and he improves and them things, because you've seen Trent Arnold set the way. But he's a decent fullback, man, and credit to him, man. I hope he next season he gets the same opportunities and he excels, and yeah, man, he does his thing, man. Decent guy. I like that he doesn't give up as well on the football pitch. Little Brody asks is, Deluded, have you thought about getting an intro? I think it would really help your channel grow. Yes, I have, bro, and I'm trying with the Adobes and all these things. I'm trying small. In fact, not at the moment, because I can't lie, I torrented Adobe and they've clocked it. So any of you torrent people, if you can help me in that respect, shout me and get in the comments, man. You help me, I help me to help you guys. I mean, the quicker I get these things, the quicker I can mess around with it and see what I can come with. But love for looking out for scope to improve it and things, bro. Truth 8848 asks is 884. I don't know what was in my throat there, but yeah, man. Asks is, if you had to sell one to keep the other, would you sell Ramsey to keep Ozil or Ozil to keep Ramsey? In a warped world where that's too. You guys know I like Aaron Ramsey, man. He messes around sometimes and annoys me, but he was on fire last season, and I say that lightly because no one was really that good. But yeah, man, I like Ramsey a lot, and Ozil's the cocoa bread to our patty, man. I can't lie. Ramsey's on the younger side, so my brain is telling me to sell Ozil. I mean, my brain is telling me to sell Ozil. My brain is also telling me to keep him because he's such a wonderful footballer. But my brain is telling me to keep Ramsey, sorry, because he could be the captain. There's he's on the slightly younger side and all these sort of things. There, he can be registered as homegrown. Yeah, man, and all these things. But my heart is telling me Ozil, so in football, man, football is not less necessarily a logical game, and as much as I preach logical decisions, people, I'm going to have to be extremely hypocritical here and think with my heart. I'm going to say keep Ozil to sell Ramsey. I take that back, man. Yeah, I stay with that, man. That's a good question. Not every day be a devil's advocate, but that's a great question. Mike Hawks is, yo, Deluded, what's your thoughts on Laurent Blanc's comments on black players? Assuming you're referring back to his comments, I believe, in 2011, when I think it was a leaked meeting or something. I'm not too sure, so don't quote me. Do your research, people. But I'm so sure he said that he got caught saying he wants players of dual nationality should be put to the back of academy sides and academy national team sides, in the sense that they shouldn't really get selection. So if we just look at French society, I've been to France once. Where was it in school? It weren't Calais. I don't even know where we went, but we went for a day trip in France somewhere, people, innit? If we look at France, you've got people, obviously, of Eastern African heritage, of all over African heritage playing. Look at Pogba and all this, Mendy and all the players in their side. Zidane, obviously, of East African heritage. There's some people of the West Indians, like the French bit of the West Indian islands. My geography's poor, but there's some people of that sort of region. So there's a lot of people of immigrant children and things, and they've done excellent things for France, if you've seen 98. But anyways, he was caught saying that they should be put to the back, and he gave an example, I think, that got leaked, in the sense that he gave some example about there was some player from London. If he's from London and his mum's Japanese and his dad's German, and he excels so much, he plays for England's under-16s. But there's an equally talented boy that was, and this guy's born in London too. There's an equally guy that's born in London, and he's just like, that's his nationality, his full thing. They're saying he should get put more. He should be given more of a chance. There's there's no truth to it. That's just nonsense, because they're both born in London, and he can't. My man, example A, can't help that his parents, one's German and one's Japanese, found each other, fell in love, sat down and had a child. He didn't say, I don't want to be that. the talent should be the talent. He's as from London as English as ever. But when he puts the example like that, it's a clever little way. You can see some sort of sense to it. Not that I condone or agree with that nonsense. So yeah, man. Hopefully, I like to think he's changed. And for someone that's made black players, that when he's managed clubs, he's captain and worked with players that's the national team level. That's a pretty ignorant comment. Obviously, I'm assuming I've said black players because you've said black players in the question. But there's obviously not just black players. There's people of East African heritage as well that this falls under, and it's nonsense considering Zidane. What do you mean? Like, imagine they said Zidane couldn't play because he's not fully French. His forefathers weren't fully French. Then you wouldn't have that world-class player that you had many years ago. But moving on, man. Harry Hunter, my guy, asks if we could go for a winger, who would you rather, Pavon or Martins? Now, they both have a chance at the World Cup to show people what they're on. I've personally seen more of Martins, my guy, and I like Martins, so I'm have to go with him. But what I'm seeing with Pavon, I'm liking as well. There's talk of him going to Barca. Allegedly, Chelsea and Arsenal's agents have spoke to him. So we'll hopefully see more in the World Cup of him if he gets a chance, because there's some great players that play for Argentina's national team in an attacking sense. So I'd probably say Martins, my guy, and that will change if I see Pavon a bit more and then things. Like, I've seen a bit, but I've seen Martins more. So I can't be screaming certain players that I ain't really seen. I sound like an idiot, don't I? So yeah, man. My guy, I can't say your name. I'm not even trying to boy it. I can't say your name, man. Riyadh. Hopefully I've said your name properly, man. No disrespect, but you've asked The Weeknd or Tiller. The Weeknd, man. Harry Hunter again asks. Sorry for getting your question, your name wrong, my guy, man. Apologies, I'm not trying to put it. I can't say that name. Please help me in the comments with that, because if you ask another question, I don't want that again. But Harry asks again, Koulibaly or Umtiti? I'm going with Koulibaly, my guy. Don't use this asks Torreira or Seri. I'm going with Lucas Torreira. Seri's going to Chelsea, so kind of salute them boy there no more, my guy. And Deluded has to live up to his name in that aspect. Love to my Chelsea watchers though. How do these youngsters compare to our youngsters? Another Mike asks. I saw that question under one of my videos, I believe, for the under-17s Euros. That's a difficult question. How do you quantify it? I'd say some match up. I'd say Amici handled himself. I think Daly Campbell had a decent tournament. Coyle sadly didn't get any game time, really, so he was hard. But I'd say, yeah, man, they held themselves, if that's the question you're asking me. And there's a lot of players, like you've seen, that I'd love to buy, like Ryan Gravenberch of Ajax. He signed a pro deal, well, to sign a pro deal. This all been agreed when he's of age. He's decent, man. Don't use this asks Ndidi or Danilo P of Porto, I assume you believe it. Does he play for Porto? The Portuguese done in it. Hopefully I'm on the right one. I'd say Danilo, my guy. So yeah, man. Alex asks which defender would you sign for Arsenal? Upamecano or Jerome Boateng? I love Upamecano, and my brain says him, but at this current moment in time, considering Jerome Boateng wants to leave, I'd say Jerome Boateng. Uche asks why don't you play semi-pro, bro? Man, that was one of my dreams when professional footballer died. Professional dreams of being a professional footballer died. I was thinking, could I do that? But that's all politics, and like, I'm out of shape. I don't yeah, man, that's a myth now. I don't even have a chance of that, man. But yeah, man. Benji asks, good question. What's more important going into a World Cup? The players' collective form or the team having a system and sticking to it? Sane left out for a mixture of things, form/system. It's difficult, my guy, because like you just said with Sane, you can't really fault, as much as I would keep him, you can't really fault Germany for not putting him in the side, in the sense that he would be, listen to my words, people, he would be their Walcott, in a sense that Walcott's game set is coming off the bench and trying to disturb people with pace. That would be Sane to a degree versus the system off the bench and them things. And obviously, his to a degree, his form for Germany just wasn't there ultimately. A couple man shined at the Confeds and a couple man were better defensively. And if that's what Lowe's deemed better, that's why he's there, to make them difficult decisions. But I would say it's a mixture of the two. First and foremost, the system, because you have to have freedom within a framework. Like, you look at Lionel Messi, it's the dead example now, but Lionel Messi and all these players can't shine if first and foremost the whole 11 don't, excluding the keeper, don't keep positional in sense and don't keep rigid as a side and don't do their job if defenders don't defend X, Y, Z. So the system is fundamental. Look at Pep Guardiola. They like to press and all of these things. The ability can get you through games, but it becomes, when it gets to the final stages or in a domestic campaign, I'm not going off topic, it won't help you. You need a system. At the same time, you need freedom within that framework. You need players that can do stuff off the cuff. You need to enable players to do what they do best, ultimately. I'd say a mixture of the two, man. I'd say if I was in their shoes, the majority of my squad would be based on system and who I can trust and who's ultimately competent. But you probably need to get a couple players that are on form, that are banging into it. You need a mixture because you don't even know. Sometimes it bangs and sometimes it doesn't. You saw with Aduriz when he got picked for Spain. I swear he didn't, after a good domestic campaign, he didn't really bang domestic level for them. I mean, international level. So, yeah, man. Next question. Raymond asks, why are Burnley so good at football? I mean, they look better than Bournemouth, West Ham, and I think you put another one, but it didn't print. I could say, if that's your opinion, I could say ultimately they're playing for the manager more well, definitely West Ham. They're playing for the manager more. They found what works for them. They work hard. The fans get behind it, and it's just a humbleness thing at Burnley. Like, no one's trying to be a star in them things. That's probably it, my guy. Tubby asks, did you see the quotes on Pep and skin colour? I don't want to really get into that. Yeah, I know I tweeted about it, but I don't really get into that until I see the full thing and things, my guy. Sorry to let you down on that. Alex asks, could Xhaka and Nzonzi work? I believe so, my guy. I mean, Nzonzi could be that defensive mid-box-to-box player that receives the ball and, goes and retrieves it and wins the ball and them sort of things there. Well, Xhaka could do, he has to do a bit of that because he's a central midfielder player primarily, but he could do what Xhaka's meant to do, that passing the ball and that deep line playmaker stuff. We know he's very much the last man and all them things, but I think it would work perfectly, to be honest. Brody asks, do you miss football back in the day? Yes, I do, man. If you're talking in my childhood, playing in cages and all of that, of course, man. Playing penny up the walls, not football, but playing goal to goal, 60 seconds, red doors, matches, Wembley, Wembley doubles. There used to be something called connections. Used to go there, like in half term and that. You play football, you get free chicken and chips. Completely contradictory, because if you're playing football, you're meant to keep healthy, but free chicken and chips, anyways. Of course, I miss it. And you've also asked, do you think football has gone too soft? Of course, man. Of course, you've got players just crying over nonsense. If a player doesn't get... I don't advocate shouting necessarily, but if a manager shouts or a player shouts, people lose their jobs. There's bare conspiring against managers and all these things. I believe players are allowed to hide a lot, to be honest with you, because first and foremost, you need to be competent and be accountable for yourself. I do think players get away with a lot, so it is soft in my opinion. Main man Obers asked finally... Under 23 11 aside, that's a tough one. I have to get back to you, man. Don't let me forget that. I'd have to get back to you. Put me on the spot. I can't answer that right now. Do you justice, man. But you've also asked, what would you rather win as a player, World Cup or Champions League? You know I love the Champions League, my guy, but it has to be the World Cup, man. The World Cup, look at the trophy. It's a different sort of thing, man. Because what that could symbolise as well, like, well, Champions League, you go down in history, but World Cup, you go down in history. Like, imagine Mo Salah won Champions League. Yeah, he's still a king and he's still a great player and he'll be remembered. But, and I'm not to discredit Champions League, but imagine he won Egypt the World Cup. That's a different sort of achievement. Like, that's a different sort, not just him because he's not by himself, but it's a different sort of achievement. I'm saying, imagine you're him. Like, it's a different, definitely World Cup, my guy, man. But it's a bit different for me from a manager's point of view because... Manager, I'd rather win the World Cup. Manager, I'd rather win the World Cup. Manager, I'd rather win the World Cup. I was gassing on that aspect, man. But people, love for the questions, man. It's been wonderful answering all of this, man. I'd love for you to come harder with some more questions, people. Keep coming back. I hope I've given you guys some content. Thank you very much, because you guys have made this ultimately car. This couldn't happen if you didn't ask these questions. So, yeah, man, thanks. Deluded, let me get out you guys' hair and let this shadow get out you guys' way now, man. I'm out. Gonna comment, subscribe, follow me on all my socials, DeludedGuna04, DGuna04 on Snapchat. I'm out.